Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive on Ikigai.
Excited to be here.
You've given me some really interesting stuff on this whole Japanese philosophy thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at Ikigai through this why, how, what lens today, to make it really practical.
Right.
It's like, how can we use this in our lives? And think of this deep dive as like a guide to finding your own reason for being.
Yeah. Love that.
So first, the why of Ikigai.
Okay.
And this might surprise you. It's like super tied to living a long time.
Longevity.
Yeah. And happiness.
Yeah.
Especially in places like, Okinawa, Japan.
Right.
Have you heard of that?
The village of longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okinawa has the highest life expectancy in the world.
It's true.
I've always been fascinated by that. Like, what's their secret?
Well, one of the things that's interesting is that Ikigai is considered like a key factor in Okinawan longevity, along with diet, exercise, the things you'd expect.
Right.
Strong social ties. But it seems like having this really clear Ikigai brings satisfaction, happiness, meaning to life.
Yeah.
And it keeps people going.
I love that. So it's not just, tacking on more years, but actually like enjoying them.
Exactly. Exactly. Quality of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we find our own Ikigai? The how. One way I thought was interesting was through logotherapy.
Okay.
Which is a type of psychology all about finding meaning in life.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And logotherapy says, like, at its core, that discovering your purpose can help you overcome stuff, challenges, and give you a stronger reason to live.
Right. Yeah.
And Viktor Frankl, I don't know if you know him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's the founder of logotherapy, and he found his Ikigai even in a concentration camp.
Powerful example.
Powerful, yeah.
Really highlights that power.
So how does logotherapy guide us towards finding our Ikigai?
Well, so they have these 4 key principles.
Okay.
First, meaning isn't something you, make up. It's something you discover.
Okay.
And second, we all have this unique reason for being. And, that reason can change as you go through life.
Right. It evolves.
It evolves, right. And then third, fixating too much on wanting something can actually make it harder to get.
Interesting.
And then finally, humor and making your own choices are really important for finding meaning.
Wow, those are making me think.
Yeah.
I can already see how this could help someone figure out, their direction. Are there any other techniques or practices to help us find our Ikigai?
Yeah, for sure. So there's this thing called Morita therapy, which is it's a Japanese therapy that goes along with Ikigai, and it's all about accepting how you feel and then taking action. So it's less about controlling how you feel and more about doing something with those feelings.
So it's about kind of shifting your focus outward.
Yes, exactly.
From just your internal struggles to actually engaging. It reminds me of that saying, action precedes motivation or something.
100%. Your emotions will change because of what you do.
I like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of action, does Morita therapy have any specific steps?
Yeah, it does. It's got this cool 4-stage process.
Okay.
So it starts with just isolating and resting.
Okay.
Then it goes into light occupational therapy. Then more intense therapy.
Oh, wow.
And then finally it ends with reintegration into society.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, each stage builds on the one before it.
So it's a way to kind of rebuild yourself and your sense of purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any other practices that you find valuable when you're thinking about Ikigai?
Definitely. Nikan meditation is another good one. It's all about reflecting on your relationships and responsibilities, like how you've impacted others, how you can contribute.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
To really look at yourself and how you fit in the world.
Okay.
So we've explored the why and the how of Ikigai. Yeah. What about the what?
Okay.
How do we live a life that actually embodies it?
So the what is very tied to this idea of flow. That feeling where you're so absorbed in what you're doing.
Like you lose track of time.
You lose track of time, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
And Csikszentmihalyi's research says this feeling comes when we've got clear goals, immediate feedback, a good balance of challenge and skill.
You're in control.
And you feel in control, yeah.
I love that feeling.
It's the best, right?
But it's not always about, achieving these big, huge things.
Yeah.
It's about the everyday stuff, too.
Yeah, and in Japan, they have this concept of microflow.
Okay.
Where you find flow in the little things, even if they seem kind of boring.
Like finding purpose in just like daily life.
Exactly. Like think of the elevator operator who greets everyone with a song, or the accountant who finds a rhythm in spreadsheets.
Yeah.
They're both experiencing microflow.
You're totally present.
Totally present, yeah.
So it seems like the key to living our Ikigai is finding those activities that bring us flow, big or small.
I think so.
Are there any other like insights on how to get that feeling more often?
Yeah, totally. So you can do things like choosing challenging but attainable tasks, setting really clear goals, getting rid of distractions, breaking down activities into smaller chunks, and grouping similar tasks together.
Okay.
Those are all practical things that can help.
I like it. Practical tips.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see how these concepts like Ikigai, logotherapy, flow, even microflow, they all kind of fit together.
It is, right?
For a life of purpose and joy.
Absolutely.
It's like a tapestry.
Yeah.
With all these interconnected ideas, like making it strong and beautiful.
I love that analogy.
Yeah,
and it's a tapestry we can all create.
It is. That's a beautiful way to put it. Speaking of finding flow in, unexpected places,
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this idea of takumi.
Mm-hmm.
It's the concept of a master craftsman in Japan, right?
Right.
What can we learn from them about living our Ikigai?
Well, Takumi, it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
These master craftspeople, they embody flow and dedication in their world.
They're so good at what they do.
They really are. They hone their skills to such a high level that it seems effortless. Like they've found this deep meaning
Right.
and purpose in their craft, often dedicating their entire lives to perfecting it.
Wow, their dedication is really inspiring.
Yeah.
Makes me think of people like Jiro Ono, the sushi master from that documentary, Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Oh, of course.
His commitment is incredible. Are there any other examples of takumi that come to mind?
Oh, absolutely. So there's Yukio Shakunaga, the porcelain artist. His work really inspired Steve Jobs.
Oh, wow.
And then there's Hayao Miyazaki,
Of course.
the legendary animation director from Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
These are all people who have reached that level of mastery that exemplifies Takumi.
It's incredible how they've found their ikigai through their craft.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder, can we find that same level of flow and dedication, even if we're not master craftspeople?
Well, that's where microflow comes in.
Right.
The Japanese understand that flow isn't limited to those big achievements.
Okay.
It can be found every day, even in things that seem mundane.
So it's about bringing that same intention to everything we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Washing the dishes, folding laundry, even answering emails.
Finding that joy and purpose in ordinary moments.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what? I think meditation can play a part here too.
Oh, definitely.
It can enhance flow and focus in any activity.
He can.
By calming the mind,
Right.
you can dive deeper into any task
Absolutely.
that aligns with your ikigai.
Yeah.
This reminds me of something else we talked about with the why of ikigai.
Okay.
Its connection to living a long time.
Longevity.
Yeah. Okinawa, the village of longevity.
Right.
They have some really interesting lessons on how to live longer, healthier lives.
Absolutely.
What can you tell us about that?
So Okinawa, they're a fascinating case study when it comes to longevity. The residents have this unique lifestyle that contributes to their long lifespans. They have these amazing social support networks called moai.
Moai.
Yeah, they're basically groups of people who come together for social and financial support throughout their lives.
It's like a built-in support system?
It is. A sense of belonging and community.
I love that.
Yeah, and beyond that, they really emphasize staying active.
Even as they get older.
Even in their later years, yeah. You'll see them tending gardens, going to events, enjoying life to the fullest.
It makes sense. Movement and connection seem like big factors.
They are.
In their longevity. Did you learn anything about their diet?
Their diet is really interesting. It's mainly plant-based.
Oh.
Lots of vegetables, fruits, whole grains.
Sounds healthy.
They also eat a lot of seafood and seaweed.
Sounds delicious, too.
It is. Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
They practice Hara Hachi Bu.
Okay, what's that?
It basically means eating until you're 80% full.
Interesting.
They really listen to their bodies.
So they stop eating when they feel satisfied.
Yes. Not overly stuffed.
Mindful eating.
Exactly.
I definitely struggle with that sometimes.
I think we all do.
It's a good reminder to slow down and pay attention to what our bodies are telling us.
It is.
It seems like the Okinawan way of life has it all figured out.
Yeah.
Community, purpose, movement, mindful eating, relaxation.
It's like a blueprint for a long and happy life.
It really is. And it's something we can all learn from.
Absolutely.
And try to incorporate into our own lives.
Regardless of where we are or what our circumstances are.
So if someone wants to live more like the Okinawans, where do they start?
Well, the first step goes back to Ikigai.
Okay.
Find your reason for being, your unique purpose.
That thing that gets you up in the morning?
Exactly. It could be your job, a hobby, a passion project, anything that brings you joy and meaning.
Love that.
What else?
Nurturing your social connections is also crucial.
Right. Spending time with loved ones.
Exactly.
Finding those like-minded people. Because strong relationships are essential for our well-being.
Totally agree.
And of course, make time for movement.
Even if it's just gentle activity.
Yeah, walking, gardening, stretching, anything to get you moving.
And mindful eating, right?
Of course. And finding ways to relax and enjoy ourselves.
So it's all about finding that balance.
It is. Balance between activity, purpose, and relaxation.
And it's a journey.
A journey, not a destination.
You don't have to move to Okinawa to live like this.
Exactly. Just start incorporating these practices gradually and see what works for you.
This has been incredibly enlightening.
Glad to hear.
We've covered so much.
We have.
From the core ideas of Ikigai to actually living a more purposeful life.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about resilience, that ability to bounce back from adversity, especially these days.
Right.
With so many challenges and stressors.
It's so important.
Yeah, resilience is key.
It's our capacity to cope with all that stuff.
Right. Challenges, setbacks, stress.
About falling apart. And it's a skill you can definitely work on.
So it's not just about being tough.
No, it's about having those inner resources and coping mechanisms.
To navigate tough situations.
Exactly.
Where do we even begin to build that kind of resilience?
One powerful approach is through mindfulness and meditation.
Mindfulness.
It's about paying attention to the present moment without judgment.
Oh, okay.
Being aware of your thoughts, feelings, sensations.
Without getting carried away?
Exactly. And when you do this regularly, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without getting overwhelmed. So you're less likely to react impulsively or get caught up in negativity.
Makes sense.
And meditation helps to train your mind to focus and stay present.
It's like a mental muscle.
It is, helping you stay grounded amidst the chaos.
Are there any other approaches?
Oh, yeah. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is another good one.
CBT.
It helps you identify and challenge those negative thought patterns that contribute to stress.
Like reframing our thinking.
Exactly. Replacing those negative thoughts with more balanced ones.
That's so valuable.
It is. CBT teaches you to change those unhelpful thinking patterns, which can reduce stress and help you cope with difficult situations.
I like it. Anything else?
You know, there are also lifestyle factors that contribute to resilience.
So it's a holistic approach.
Absolutely. Things like exercise, spending time in nature, nurturing your social connections, doing things you enjoy.
It's about taking care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly.
So resilience isn't just a mental state, it's a way of life.
It is.
It's fascinating how these different approaches, from ancient wisdom to modern therapies, they all help us face challenges.
With strength and grace.
And it's important to remember that building resilience is a journey.
It is a journey, not a destination.
Something we're always working on.
We're all works in progress.
That's right. And that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
The key is to be aware of those factors and actively cultivate them.
In our lives.
Yeah. You mentioned anti-fragility earlier. And I'm really intrigued by how it's even more than resilience.
It is.
So what is anti-fragility exactly?
So it's not just about bouncing back, it's about getting stronger because of challenges. Like a resilient person might cope and recover.
Okay.
But an anti-fragile person uses that setback to grow and transform.
Wow, so they thrive on difficulty.
They do.
That's amazing. Any examples of that?
Sure. Imagine someone loses their job. A resilient person might find a new one.
Right.
But an anti-fragile person might start their own business.
Whoa.
Use the experience to get new skills, expand their network. They turn it into an opportunity.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
It's like they use that challenge as fuel.
They do.
But how do we even cultivate that? It seems almost impossible.
It might sound extraordinary, but the principles are actually pretty practical.
Okay.
One key is to embrace uncertainty. Instead of trying to control everything, learn to adapt.
Okay.
Even thrive in unpredictable situations.
So getting comfortable with not knowing.
Exactly.
Trusting ourselves.
Yeah. And another key is to see failure as a learning experience.
Not be afraid of it.
Right. See it as feedback.
To help us grow.
Exactly.
That sounds a lot like the growth mindset.
It is. That's essential for anti-fragility. Okay. Anything else?
One more. Redundancy and diversification.
Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Diversify your income, your skills, relationships, interests.
So if one area takes a hit,
you have others to rely on.
I see, like a safety net that helps you move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about creating that.
Are there any Japanese concepts that relate to this?
Yeah, there are actually several. Wabi-sabi, for one.
Okay, what's that?
It's about finding beauty in imperfection, simplicity, like appreciating those cracks and crevices.
The things that make something unique.
Exactly. It encourages us to embrace those imperfections and challenges, and that can make us more resilient.
More anti-fragile.
It's a beautiful way to live, accepting the journey.
It is. Oh, and another one is ichigo ichi.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means one time, one meeting. It reminds us that each moment is unique.
Okay.
To savor it, appreciate it.
Because it won't happen again.
Exactly.
These Japanese concepts are so insightful.
They are.
It's like a whole different perspective on life.
It is.
One that embraces challenges and imperfections.
And uses them for growth.
Yeah. They connect back to Ikigai too, don't they?
They do. When you have that clear sense of purpose.
Your Ikigai?
Yeah, you embrace those challenges. You find beauty in the imperfections.
Appreciate those fleeting moments.
Exactly. Ikigai becomes the foundation for an anti-fragile life.
It gives you that inner strength to keep going.
It does, and it aligns with those deeper spiritual values we talked about.
Yeah, the interconnectedness.
Living in harmony with nature.
So Ikigai is more than just a self-help thing.
It's deeper than that.
It's a whole philosophy.
Yeah, tied to Japanese culture and spirituality.
Drawing from those traditions.
Shintoism, Buddhism, Confucianism.
They emphasize things like mindfulness and compassion.
Acceptance, reverence for nature, harmony.
It's about finding your place in the world.
Your purpose.
And living a life that reflects those values.
Absolutely. And when you do that,
yeah,
you naturally become more resilient, more appreciative of life.
It's like finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Where you're grounded, inspired, connected.
Driven by your purpose.
This has been such an incredible exploration of Ikigai.
It has.
I feel so inspired to keep learning about it.
I'm glad.
And putting these principles into practice.
Yeah.
What final advice would you give to our listener who wants to find their own Ikigai?
I would say, think about what brings you joy, what you're good at, and what the world needs. Those are the clues to your Ikigai.
It's a journey of self-discovery.
It is.
And it sounds worth it.
It is.
It's like a treasure hunt within ourselves.
I like that.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been enlightening and inspiring.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Remember, everyone,
yes,
the journey is part of the reward.
It is.
Embrace the process, and you'll find your Ikigai.
You will.